morning, everybody. We are here in Cave City. Today we're going to meet up with Leticia Cline. She's got some bourbon trail tickets. I don't know which distillery, but I'm excited to find out. And this is another great day on our Southern Comfort Tour.
Well, you know, we got to stay in these great wigwams last night, and I've always wanted to stay in one. This is the original one of 3 that are still left. I can't wait to hear more about them.
Yeah, I think last night I said there were 2, but I forgot about the Holbrook one on Route 66. And this is a period of time when the nostalgia was happening. TPs, neon signs on Route 66, so we were able to join that.
Yeah, it's all about cars, travel, and getting out and seeing America, and that's what they were doing back in this day. So this is really a great adventure. Glad we're here. We're going to go get some breakfast right now and continue on with a great journey.
So before we head out, we're going to have Keith come over and talk about the history of the Wigwam hotels here and the whole chain. There were 7 of them at one point.
Who wouldn't want to stay here? It's more than just sleeping in a room that looks like a teepee. It's a step back in time. It feels like you're sleeping back in time. I'm Keith Stone. I'm one of the owners of Wigwam Village No. 2 in Cave City, Kentucky. Megan Smith's the other owner. This was built in 1937. It's 85 years old. There were 7 of these built between 1935 and 1950, and only 3 of them are left. And the other 2 are on Route 66 in Arizona and in California. But this is the oldest surviving one, and this was the model for the rest of them. So Frank Redford was born in Indiana, but he moved as a young child with his family to Horse Cave just down the road from here, and was a lifelong aficionado of Native American culture. He collected what he called Indian relics, had actually gone to South Dakota and knew what a real teepee looked like. He took a trip with his mom in 1933 to Long Beach, California, where he saw a barbecue restaurant shaped like a teepee with 2 little teepee bathrooms next to it. And so he did what any good entrepreneur does when they see a good idea. He stole it. When Frank Redford built number 1 in Horse Cave in 1935, about 7 miles from here, he had this wild vision to make something bigger and better, and that was going to be this one, number 2. And so then he began to sell the plans, and he franchised it so other people could make them, but they had to follow his rules and pay them. That's when you get one in New Orleans, you get one in Bessemer, Alabama, and you get one in Orlando, Florida, which was the largest one. It had 27 teepees, and those all are torn down. The franchise is actually a significant piece of Americana or American history. There's been academic scholarship published on the role of the Wigwam Village franchise in modernizing American road travel, and it all has to do with cars. Because when these were being built in the mid to late 30s, the general public was beginning to be able to afford cars, and roads were being paved, so now you had places to go to. It was the dawn of the great American road trip. And you'll notice that this is in a semicircle, and this was intentional. Frank was trying to promote and foster friendship and community among his guests, and the reason was, especially in 37, when you got out of your cave and you got into your teepee, there was less than 0 to do. They would play games, they would picnic, they would light a fire in the fire pit, and then the weirdest thing would happen. Strangers would talk to strangers. People would talk to each other in real life and face to face. Doesn't happen a lot today, but it does happen in one place. It happens in campgrounds still. And Frank was trying to model this after a campground. He called this a tourist camp. People were nostalgic for that simpler way of life that they remembered that when they didn't live in the city. And so for them, this was getting back to that. The only reason this survived really is because it's 12 miles from Mammoth Cave, and Mammoth Cave gets 500,000 people a year. So most people who come here are coming here first for Mammoth Cave and then a neat place to sleep in. And there's this really fascinating anti-modern sentiment that goes through it. In the beginning, people slept in state-of-the-art motels, but they were looking for an anti-modern experience. Then people wanted modern, and now people are coming back to these because they want to sleep outside the box, which is our slogan. We have 2 Facebook pages. Our website is historicwigwamvillage.com, or you can call 1-833-WIGWAMS, and we'll see you down the road.
I got to tell you, I'm really happy. We are sitting at the dive bar at Stella Mae's food truck. We're having a great breakfast, and we're with Leticia.
Well, she's procured some tickets for us for the distillery. Which one are we going to?
Maker's Mark.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
kind of
didn't hear that last night.
Yeah, the start of the Bourbon Trail. So you guys are going to see where it all starts at here in Kentucky. Liquid Gold, actually.
Well, we asked for a menu of a breakfast place, and she sent us Stella Mays, and we went off menu, so she accommodated. We have some bacon and eggs here, and it's wonderful.
Well, thank
you for doing that.
Yeah, of course.
Little
thanks
coffee.
For coming.
I don't know if we said, but you're running for mayor.
Yeah,
right?
I am.
The proof is in the pudding. She's putting her hard-earned sweat and tears into this city to make it better. And now you're running for mayor to make it better as well.
Yes.
For the whole city.
Vote for Leticia.
Fantastic.
Yes. Number 1 on the ballot.
Welcome to the Southern Comfort Tour. This series is brought to you by Legend Suspension.
Hey, you know what? We test them, we trust them. They're made in America. We have collectively hundreds of thousands of miles. Wind, snow, rain, mud, dirt. We love them. Hey, back to the video.
Man, these are some country roads if I've seen some. This is incredible.
Well, you heard Keith talk about at the Wigwam, the 31 that runs from Michigan to Florida. And this was the old 2-lane road people used to take, and we're on it, and it's nothing short of spectacular.
It's beautiful, it's fun, we're having a great morning. I mean, Leticia can rip on a motorcycle.
Yeah, I mean, you're passing all these farms, the cornfields, a bunch of old barns. The weather's perfect. I feel like I've been saying that every day, but it's true. It just keeps getting better and better. We're gonna get into some awesome history today. We've already seen so much at the Wigwam. Really stoked to see the Maker's Mark facility as well.
Well, this is the type of riding I like through here, where you've got the trees and the canopies, and then in some of these sections there's a bunch of leaves on the ground and they're spraying up in your face, and it's that reminder of fall. And guess what we're doing, boys? We're riding today. Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what, Leticia, she's a wealth of knowledge. She has all kinds of great stories she's going to share with us. We're going to learn a lot on this trip from her.
Absolutely. And we did see a nice big sign with her face on it, Leticia Cline for mayor, so.
Yes.
Yeah, it's only about 60 miles to the distillery. We're going to take a nice tour out there, and really looking forward to that.
Now, she did say that if you purchase a bottle there, you can actually dip it in the wax and create your own bottle if you want. So that's kind of cool.
Well, you know what? I have some bottles of Maker's Mark at home in my bar, and you never know, might have to go home with another one.
I'm thinking so.
I don't think so. I don't know where the hell you're going to put it.
Oh, we'll find a spot. Look at the tree line. Look at the rocks. Look at everything. The road's nice.
In a matter of 30 minutes, we went from awesome little town of Cave City. We ran through the farmlands, then we just ran through some canopy and shaded areas, and now we're just ripping by these rocks, colorful trees through this corridor. But we're just seeing more and more, and it just gets better and better.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, I got to tell you, the people in Tennessee and Kentucky, they have some pretty great places to ride, and we've only seen not even a quarter of them. I mean, you've got Maggie Valley, you've got the Triangle, you've got a bunch of other spots that I think we may have to work ourselves back out here in the next year or so.
All right, well, you're going to have a great ride in. We'll see you guys at the distillery.
See you down the road.
So when you're in the South, what you have to do is go see a distillery. We've seen Jack Daniels, and now we're here on the bourbon tour in Kentucky at Maker's Mark.
So we're becoming very professional with this stuff.
For sure. Let's come along for the journey. Come on. Looks like there's some mash up on top. I don't know what. I asked him what it is, and he said he didn't know.
Wow, it's pretty amazing. I mean, that's boiling right in there.
Just get the smell off of that. That's great. So we're trying to take in all this information, but man, look at some of these big barrels and the aging, and you got bubbles, you got fermentation, then you got one that's completely done. It looks like the craters in the moon.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a big vat of baby foods as well. And Leticia was saying it feels like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think I need a drink looking at all this stuff.
Well, we'll get to that, but let's keep looking around this place.
There's going to be more info. Just finished a great tour at the Maker's Mark Distillery, and Sam taught us a lot of good stuff.
Very cool. Tell us a little bit more about the history.
So Bill Samuel Sr. started this company back in 1953 after his family roots go back to the distilling at T.W. Samuel's Distillery. Wasn't the biggest fan of his family's recipe, so he wanted to create his own fresh start. Burned his family's recipe in front of his entire family and bought a distillery out in Loretto, out of the middle of Loretto, Kentucky, and started making his whiskey. His wife Margie's credit for our recipe. She decided to bake different types of bread with the different grains that we're using to distill. Ended up on our recipe that we're utilizing to this day. Every single drop of Makers coming right here from this campus out in the middle of Loretto.
It's a great story.
Well, you did a great job taking us around today, and you're from Ogden, Utah?
Yeah, so born out in Layton, Utah.
Yeah.
No way.
Military brat growing up, so hopped around to a couple military bases and finally settled in Kentucky and love it to this day.
He's
it's
from
absolutely
Ogden.
gorgeous.
Well, I'm from Salt Lake City, but
Salt
my
Lake
family's
City?
up there,
Yeah.
so.
Say Layton's about 20 miles out, I think.
Yeah, and but great job. Thanks for supporting this cause for us as well. I mean, not everyone wants to get on camera, but we appreciate it.
Hey, with this kind of pretty face, you got to.
Absolutely.
Well, I think we all need a cigar now.
Well, with that, let's
sounds
get
like a
back
plan.
to maybe lunch.
Lunch sounds good. Thank
Boom.
you.
So just bought a bottle of Maker's Mark, and the coolest thing about it here is that you get to dip it yourself. So I'm about to dip my bottle, and hopefully I don't make a mess. Yeah, you got to tell me exactly my levels. I might get way too much wax on here.
I think they all are going to be unique and special in their own way. It doesn't matter if you mess up, they're going to look great no matter what. So you'll do 4 fingers at the front and your thumb on the barcode.
Okay.
Your other hand will be right here at the base of the neck. You'll dip it down to about right in through here, just a ½ inch past that little lip. You'll go straight down in the wax, lift it up and turn it flat on its side, 2 turns, and then you'll set it down.
So I'm blonde. That was a lot of instructions. I'm just kidding.
They saw Leticia do it, now they want to do it. Well, that was a great tour. What'd you think, Alan?
Man, I love Kentucky. It's known for 3 things. It's caves, it's horses, and it's distilleries.
I mean, that's kind of, we fit right in, don't we?
We sure do.
Wow.
We ride
Watch
horses. We love to go into caves, and we love to drink whiskey and bourbon.
I just am missing that cigar.
Well, let's head over to the lunch spot over here and see if we can grab a little bit of lunch, check it out. But she does want to take us into Bardstown, which is the oldest bar in the country. So we're going to check that out.
We like that.
For sure.
All right. Hey, great.
Well, we just made our way from Maker's Mark, and we are here in Bardstown inside the Talbott Tavern, which is one of the oldest taverns in the country.
Yeah, in America, 1779 oldest continuous running bar. Right now we're in the Jesse James room. Jesse James stayed here, he shot up the wall, went to leave his mark, and there was a fire early 90s, I believe, and then because of that they discovered these paintings by King Louis XVI's painter who came and stayed here, who Louisville is named after actually, and Yeah, and now they have these two amazing finds just because of a fire. Thank God it didn't destroy the place.
These are actual murals.
Yeah, these are murals that are done. You can still see the remnants, like a row of trees and scenes like that. I think there's a thing that talks about it. But
Okay.
You're in Bardstown, Kentucky, and it's the start of the bourbon trail. So you notice Heaven Hill Distilleries. You could throw a rock and hit it. It's over there. They make Evan Williams and a lot of stuff. And but you're downstairs. You'll get to see the oldest bourbon bar. And actually, I think they have a sign for it.
Yeah, it's amazing. These floors are like bent. I mean, the building's so old. It's like, how is it even standing? But there's so much history in here. It's amazing.
Yeah, history holds it up.
Well, I peeked in one of the rooms there, and it's got all this stonework and exposed beams. I can't wait to get down and try the bourbon here and get a great lunch in us.
Yeah, burgoo. That's a Kentucky dish. You gotta have it.
What is it?
Burgoo.
What
It's
is
like
that?
a beef stew. It's a little bit of everything, whatever you got in your pantry. You just make a stew out of it.
I think we're going to try some of that.
Well, I'm hungry and ready for it.
Let's go.
All right.
So you just heard Leticia talk about the history of this place, the Talbott Tavern, established in 1779. We now are down here in the oldest part of the building, in the tavern itself, and having a great lunch. And Leticia, what was the name of the soup or the stew?
A burgoo, which is amazing. It's just kind of like a stew, pork stew with anything you have in your pantry, basically.
Well, it's a great recommendation. And what do we have around the table here? So Josh, the Kentucky Club, Laura?
I had the stew, and now I've just got a plain old little salad.
BLT and French fries. Boring.
Grilled chicken sandwich and the burgoo soup.
Yeah.
And another
And you got and then Kentucky staple right here is an old fashioned. It started in Louisville, Kentucky. For any of you guys questioning that out there.
And the way she does it, it's good.
Yeah, it's very simple.
And
Just
we're gonna have
highlights.
some tonight, too.
Yes, absolutely.
We're having some tonight.
All right, well, let's get to eating.
Let's eat.
Well, good morning, everyone. Unfortunately, last night we forgot to close.
You know, I don't remember much from last night, but maybe that's why we forgot to close. But it was a great day yesterday.
What a
wasn't it?
hell of a day. We ran up to Maker's Mark, which was great. Leticia took us all over. We ended up in the Bardstown, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
At the Talbott. And I was sitting there while we were having lunch thinking, looking out the windows, thinking about dirt roads, kerosene lanterns, or whale oil, or whatever it was. This thing was open in 1779, and we were sitting in that room. I still haven't got the gravity of what that really was like.
Well, that history gets into your soul, and when you're sitting there, you kind of go back in time. You feel that, and you know there's bullet holes still in there. Jesse James stayed there.
Big musket over the bar. I mean, incredible stuff. So
we love this stuff, and we love sharing it with you, and we love that we go back in time and can bring it home.
Yep. So with that, should we bring Greg in and have him subscribe?
Hey, can you do a subscribe for us?
The people you
This
meet
is
on the road.
He's going to tell you to subscribe to Two Lane Life.
Yeah, subscribe to Two Lane. So I've got a little song here about bikes. I hit the highway on the road again. This black beauty take me place I never been. I look down doing 110. Come on, baby, give me more if you can.
Yeah, down that road.